Hello and welcome to this session on getting more website traffic. I'm going to be explaining some of the tips and some of the ideas that we use to grow our own website traffic and how we've built our website traffic from zero, a brand new website, up to 12,000 visitors a month. I'm going to share some ideas as to how you can do that yourselves. If you've got any questions, feel free to let us know. So first and foremost, what to expect throughout the course of this short, punchy webinar? Well, in essence, I'm going to share some ideas with you as to how we've generated more business using additional websites, website funnels, blog articles, general SEO tactics, and you'll be able to swipe and deploy those tactics yourself. So with that in mind, here's the thing about websites. I had somebody speak to me the other day about their website, and we did a website audit for them. And the outcome of it was, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But if it is, we need to start acting on that straight away. Because the thing about websites and the thing about increasing your website traffic is there's no quick overnight fix. It's not a case of you put a website live tomorrow, you put a blog article or a new website page live tomorrow, and you'll get thousands of hits on it. That's very rare. So instead, what we need to do is we need to make sure that our website's re-indexed on a regular basis. And when it's re-indexed, it's seen that we're doing a lot of work on the website. We're answering all of the questions that our prospects could possibly have. And in doing so, then Google will put that in front of more people. The reason I say Google is because Google is the largest of the search engines. So a lot of our focus, a lot of our efforts should be geared towards that. So when we come to think about our websites, we need to start with the end in mind. This is a business marketing principle that we talk to a lot of our clients about. And in essence, what we're trying to do is we're looking to find out what's the end goal, what are we looking to achieve? And for you, it might be you'd like more website traffic because you want additional sales. You'd like more leads. You'd like more visitors to the website to grow its domain authority. You'd like more views on specific topics, specific service items on your website. So understanding what that looks like will help you create a strategy of some description to be able to then start to work on growing your website traffic. If I take you back to the basics for a second, I started to plan this session when I was sat in an airport bar waiting for a flight. And the idea came as a result of a conversation that I had with my business partner. We were redeveloping our website, Tom's CRM, and on the screen there you can see the previous iteration of the website. We started to think about what we needed to do to grow the website traffic. And then I thought to myself, well, let's just do what we did with the legal growth website that we've got, or let's just do what we did with our Lincolnshire marketing website. Let's do what we're doing for all of our clients. So we started to design a sitemap. And a sitemap is essentially something to define what pages you've got on your website, what links with other pages, how many blogs you're going to have, where those blogs drive traffic, what call to actions and lead magnets and things like that you've got. And then as a result, I thought we can develop this as an idea, as a concept, and we can share this with other people so that they can increase their website traffic. And voila, here we are today. So if I take you back to basics just for a second, let's talk about why we're doing this. So we want more leads, we want more website traffic, we want more views, eyes on specific service pages. So we've got to think about things like search engine optimization to be more visible in the search engines, the search engine results pages, as it's known, the SERPs. What we need to do is we need to make sure that we've optimized our content. We need to make sure that we've got a technically astute website. The website needs to work as it should. And then what theoretically will happen as a result, and we can't offer any guarantees, we should see this, is we should see that Google, Bing, all the other search engines start to deliver us more traffic. So if we start thinking about Google, and I've already mentioned that Google is the highest performing search engine, so to speak, gets the most traffic, we need to think about what Google likes, and then we can tailor that with our own strategy. And we know that Google likes high quality, relevant content. Well, it's easy for me to say that, but what does high quality relevant content look like? We'll go into a little bit more detail about how you can find out how to create high quality content. What Google also likes is mobile friendly design. I've got some statistics as to how many people are searching now using mobile rather than going through a desktop. Google also likes page speed and performance, and we can provide you with an SEO report, which will tell you, it will give you statistics, it will give you an understanding as to how your website specifically ranks for page speed and performance. So how long it takes for a page to load, whether you've got images on there that are slowing down that page loading speed, because things like that, people are impatient. People will leave your website if your website doesn't load quickly enough, and they'll go and find one that does. Google also likes backlinks from authoritative sources. So if I give you the example here in the UK, the BBC is an authoritative source. It publishes a lot of information, and then any links that come from a backlink that comes from something like the BBC will be seen by the search engines, by Google, as an authoritative search, and that will increase your domain authority score. And then the final thing that Google likes is user metrics, user engagement metrics. So what that means is things like your click-through rate, your CTR. So if you get a high click-through rate, then that's a good thing from Google's perspective. And we'll give you some ideas as to how you can increase that too. Before we go on, I'm going to quickly explain. We've done SEO. We've explained what SEO is, search engine optimization is. At the minute, GSO, generative search optimization, is an emerging part of your digital footprint, and it's something that you should be focusing on when you're looking at how you can increase your website traffic. So whilst SEO focuses on tailoring your content on your website, your on-page SEO, your on-page content, to make you more visible in the search engines, what GSO does is it utilizes AI-driven search functionality. So it's about how conversational your website is. And GSO will pick out parts of your website and theoretically put it in front of people. And the way that GSO works at the minute is you put something into Google, and what you'll find is there might be a search bar at the top. Then you'll have the results, the search engine results. And the GSO, the AI-driven part of the search, is the first thing that appears for us now. So therefore, there's a relevance to it. It's prominent, and we should start to factor this into our strategy when increasing website traffic. And we'll go into a bit more information on that. So how do you rank for GSO? Well, ultimately, I've already mentioned that you need conversational content. So essentially, when you're creating a blog article, why don't you start to use question and answers? So use a header tag, a H tag, and ask the question. So how can I improve my website traffic? That's something that somebody will ask. And then you answer the question in a short snippet. And what GSO will do, or what the search engines will do from an AI-driven perspective, is they will pull out that question and answer, and they'll put it into that part of that search engine results page. You can also optimize for voice search and long tail keywords, and we'll go into a little bit more information in a second about what that looks like. And you should also be leveraging schema markup. And again, I'll explain what that means. Long tail keywords are a phrase using a heading and subtitle. And typically speaking, they're known as questions. So instead of using SEO tips as a blog title, what you'd probably do is you'd probably put something like, how can I improve my website's SEO? And then when somebody searches for how can I improve my website's SEO, then you're more likely to come there to appear in the search engine results pages. And that is essentially how we use long tail keywords. So we phrase everything as a question, and therefore it's more conversational. I also mentioned schema markup and how we should be utilizing this. Well, schema markup essentially is HTML, and it's about how the website's HTML, so the language that's used to develop your website, how that's read by the search engines, and then therefore how that's utilized for website copy. I'll give you an example. So why is it important? Well, it helps web search engines to interpret the content on your website, and therefore we want content-rich snippets. So we want that conversational piece, we want those questions and answers that we've just mentioned to help us to rank and help us to appear. So instead of putting things like SEO tips for websites, you'd put something like, how can I rank my website? How can I increase my website traffic? And that will therefore improve your click-through rate, your CTR, meaning that more people will click on your article, go back to your website, and then stay on your website. Now, it's important to recognize some key statistics, and this will define what your strategy looks like as you move forward. So some people say you don't need a website. I would argue that most businesses these days have a website, and there's a reason for that. And that's because website traffic across the globe is absolutely massive. And if we look specifically at the UK, the internet penetration is at nearly 98%, basically meaning that the majority of the population are using the internet. We've seen, and I mentioned earlier on, how we should start to focus on making sure that our websites are optimized for mobile. Your web developer should have done this for you as you have a website built. But if you've built your own website, you can theoretically and typically speaking, you can have a look in the back end of your website as to how it appears on mobile. And if we know that over 60%, 66% of website traffic comes from mobile, we want to make sure that our websites are now optimized for that. That statistic was as at 2023, so I'd expect that we'll see more and more mobile web traffic now. And then the final thing to think about is that there are over 11 million websites in the UK. The majority of the places that we go to, and we're so information rich these days, the majority of the time, if we've got a question, we'll go to Google to get that question answered. And typically speaking, Google will drive us to somewhere where we can find that response. And it will either drag information from a website using GSO or search engine optimization. Typically speaking, we'll see more GSO employed here. And then when somebody wants more information on that, they'll click on that link and be driven back to that website. So therefore, it's important that we make sure that our website answers those questions and that we've got a website in place that's mobile optimized. So one more statistic, as I mentioned, Google is the primary search engine, and over 93% of website traffic goes through Google. We might see a small change in that as AI content becomes more dominant. We might see people doing more search through things like ChatGPT or through Gemini, and therefore Google's dominance might cease a little bit. But as it currently stands, over 93% of web traffic goes through Google. So therefore, we need to utilize the tools that we've got available to us through Google, including things like your Google business profile. And if you look at the maps pack, as we call it, so when you search for a local business, what people are looking for is local businesses near them. So local cafe near me or coffee shop near me. And then the map pack comes up. There'll be a map with lots of different destinations on it in the local geographic area, which answer the specific question. And that's a huge part of website search traffic. So make sure that you're visible if you've got a specific geographic location for that. If you don't have a specific geographic location, doesn't necessarily matter so much. If you've got a serviced office or whatever the case may be, you still want to appear on that map pack and you still want to collect Google reviews. That will help with increasing your website traffic. I said one more statistic. I mean, this is the last statistic now. One more statistic. The second biggest search engine is YouTube. So if you're not currently utilizing video-based search results, then start to think about how you can employ that. In marketing, we use something called the innovation curve. And if you look at TikTok, TikTok was the last major social media platform that came in back in 2016, 2017. And as a result, now it's got over 1 billion worldwide users. It's no longer just for people doing silly dancing videos. So start to think about how you can utilize short form video content on platforms like YouTube Shorts or on TikTok, and how you can start to use long form video content. So that's a landscape based video, and how that can be embedded into your website, because the search engine, the algorithms behind it, Google looks at YouTube to find answers to the questions that people have got. And obviously, as you put in a search in the Google search bar, you've got the opportunity to search the web for it, search images and search videos. And more people are going to video-based search to get an answer to their question. So start to think about that. So to find out what's best for you with regards to how you can increase your website traffic, the good starting point is to have a think about what you'd like to achieve. So we talked about starting with the end in mind. And then we need to start thinking about how we're going to appear in those specific searches. So for me, if we've got a legal marketing agency. If I'm looking as to how I can increase my website traffic for legal growth, our legal marketing agency, I'd start to do some search research for topics that people are searching for. So legal marketing, or more customers for my law firm, or that sort of thing. So I would do some search results, and I might spend 30-40 minutes just having a little look at what people might be searching for, what appears in those searches, looking at the header tags, so the topic in question. And then I would then go to Google Trends, and Google Trends is a search device, and I'll go into more information on that. I would also want to do some market research. So whilst I don't believe there's any such thing as competition, strictly speaking, I would like to see what other law firms or other legal marketing agencies will be doing, and I want to see what's working well. I'd like to copy it, swipe and deploy, essentially. So I talked about Google Trends. This is essentially what Google Trends is. It gives you information, real-time information, as to what's being searched. So this was a screenshot from this morning as to what's been searched within the last 24 hours. And the most prominent search is Roberta Flack, and that's sadly because she passed away. So if I wanted to create content that might rank, it might be a blog article, then theoretically I would use Google Trends to find out what's ranking. You can also find out, if you wanted to do an article about something particularly niche, you can find out what volume of web traffic is being searched for with regards to that specific niche, and then you can establish whether it's worth creating content around it. If it is worth creating content, then theoretically it'll increase web traffic as a result. So how Google Trends works. Well, essentially what it does is it helps you identify those keywords and popular topics, and then you can think about things like seasonal content. So the Roberta Flack piece that we just mentioned, that's essentially seasonal. It's prevalent and relevant right now, but may not be in a month's time. But what it enables you to do is act quickly. So you can start to create content around that now, and you might choose to use something like ChatGPT to help you with those blog articles to stay ahead of the competition. A couple of tips then for increasing your website traffic. Well, I mentioned about search engine optimization. It's about the point being that you're trying to be more visible in the search engines. Well, SEO actually breaks down into two different elements. You've got on-page SEO and off-page SEO. So the on-page SEO is the important thing for increasing website traffic, because in theory, what you're doing is you're making your website better. So you're improving the actual content that's on your website. You're making it more relevant, more engaging. And then theoretically, when Google reindexes your website and it sees that you've got a live website that's being regularly updated with relevant and engaging content, it will drive people to you. But you've also got off-page SEO. And that off-page SEO is essentially your digital footprint. So if you start to look at things like your social media channels, if you start to look at things like blog articles that you've written on guest blogs for other people, that's off-page SEO, but drives traffic back to your website. So both points are important for increasing website traffic, but your on-page SEO is where the primary focus should be if you're looking to increase your website traffic right now. You can do that through blogging. So I told you that we increased our website traffic from zero traffic to 12,000 visitors per month. And the way that we did that was increasing the number of website pages that we've got on our website, making sure that we had a minimum number of words on each specific page, embedding images on those website pages, making sure that we had all the necessary image descriptions, we call it an alt tag, on those images. Then we drove traffic to those specific pages. We linked them, so we used what we call internal linking to drive traffic around our website, keeping people on our website for even longer, which would then theoretically reduces our bounce rate. And the bounce rate is essentially the rate at which somebody comes to your website and they leave before they've done anything. So before they've clicked through, done anything in terms of a call to action, before they've gone onto a second page on your website or a third page, before they've read another blog, watched a video. And if they spend a very small amount of time on that website, and specifically on one page, and they leave, they bounce, that tells Google that they didn't find what they were looking for. And then Google is less likely to put you in front of more search results. So it reduces our bounce rate. We can keep people on our website even longer by doing things like embedding a video. One of our clients does something really well with regards to video content. They'll record a video of them talking about the blog that they've just written and posted on their website. And then they embed video into the blog so that if people don't want to read the blog, they simply watch the video. And in theory, they're staying on the blog, on that page on the website, for as long as they need to. What they'll also do is, because that video is embedded within the actual website itself, but it might be a video from YouTube, for example, in the description at the end of the video, they'll say something like, if you've enjoyed this video or if you enjoyed this blog, you might find this one interesting. Have a look for the link in the description. And then the drive traffic is essentially an internal link to another page on the website, and therefore keep people on the website even longer, reducing the bounce rate. Another thing that you can do, which will benefit you from an SEO perspective and to increase our website traffic, increase the number of people that are visiting your website, will be to collect Google reviews. We've got a client now that's got well over 300 reviews online, and they were using Trustpilot. Whilst Trustpilot's great because it's got a good domain authority score itself, the first thing that people see when they do a search is the map packs that we talked about. And that map pack will show your Google business page and how many Google reviews you've got. It's the first thing that people see. So in theory, you should be collecting those Google reviews first. And once you've dominated local search, so you've got more Google reviews than the competition, once you've done that, then you can start to collect more reviews from, if you're a solicitor, review solicitors, or if you're a local cafe, then Trustpilot, those sorts of things. So Google reviews always first. Some more simple tips for you. In terms of the optimization of your actual website itself, and this will help with increasing web traffic, is to make sure that your website's optimized. So we've talked about making sure it's optimized for mobile, but a couple of key things that when we do website audits for clients, one of the things that we tend to find is that there's things missing, like header tags. So the website might look attractive, but it might not have a H1 tag on the homepage, or the website's missing meta tags, which are essentially descriptions as to what people are viewing. And again, images have alt tags. It's a description of what the image is, because Google can't see an image. It can't see what's on the image, but it can see a description of that image, which is essentially what an alt tag is. So it describes it to people so that when people put in the search website traffic and they click on the images section, if it doesn't have an alt tag, it won't appear in that search. And then the other thing you should be looking at is broken links on your website. So it might be that you've changed the URL on a blog And what that will do is it will create a broken link. And it's only created a broken link if the previous URL has been used out there somewhere. So somebody's linking back to the old blog URL. So you need to fix those sorts of things. We can give you a list of broken links should you need it. So one more blog example. One of the things that we do, and this has been instrumental, it's a game changer in terms of increasing the website traffic. Not huge website traffic, but certainly multiple times we've seen this work, is if somebody asks me a question, what we tend to do is we will use blog articles rather than answer the question in an email. So if somebody says, Tom, how do I link my Facebook and my Instagram together? I will write a blog article about it and I will send them a link to the blog article. And the blog article will include pictures and things like that, rather than me typing it into an email. The purpose being, not only can I repurpose that for other people, but hopefully then I'll rank within the search engines for other people that have searched for that. So that's how you could theoretically be answering questions better and driving traffic back to your website. A little bit more about blogs. When you're writing blogs, you should be aiming for a minimum of 350 words. And that's the same across any page on your website, minimum of 350 words. You should make sure that you're tagging your blogs. So if somebody goes onto your website and they're looking for information about how to increase their business, you should have a tag called business growth. And every time you write a blog article that's geared towards that specific tag, you tag the blog so that people can just search for the tag and they find all the blog articles around that specific and given subject. Add feature images to every single blog. This will help it when you take the blog URL and you post it to a WhatsApp chat or something like that. That feature image will then pop up and people can see visually what they're going to be looking at. We've already talked about the importance of embedding videos within those blogs. That's super important. And we've talked about internal linking, so linking from one page of your website to other pages as you progress. The final thing I'll mention about your blog articles is make sure that there's a call to action and make sure that those call to actions stand out. So the most boring call to action that you could possibly have is something along the lines of, for more information, give us a call or head over to our contact page. What you might choose to do is you might drive them to a specific landing page for a free download. That's a slightly more exciting call to action, but the call to actions need to appear and they need to be visually relevant. So instead of just having a paragraph that says for more information, contact us on XYZ, put a button and link that button, hyperlink that button to the call to action that you've got in place, the landing page or whatever it might be. That makes it stand out more. Another tip for increasing your website traffic, think about email marketing. So I'm a marketer, so I'm bound to say this, right? But ultimately, email marketing, there's a place for it. People read emails, everybody's got an email account. Therefore, if we can get into their email inbox with something that's got a relevant subject title and pre-header, then you're likely to be able to get them to open the email. You'll be able to see what those open rates look like theoretically. And then what you want to do then is drive traffic back to your website. Where to drive that traffic is entirely up to you. But if we're using email marketing as a tool, we don't really want to drive traffic back to our homepage on the website. We want to drive traffic back to specific pages, so specific blog articles or landing pages, lead magnets. So an example of this is that you signed up to this webinar using a landing page. So there's a specific landing page developed for this webinar, for our webinar series, and that's how you signed up. That was all based on social media linked through to a landing page, and then we use email marketing, so automated emails to get people to then watch the webinars and theoretically take action as a result. What we've then done is started to build an email list, a subscriber list. I'd encourage you to think about the same thing. So putting that information into a system using automated emails. So if your target is increase website traffic to increase sales, this is a perfect example of how to do that by driving traffic back to your website, information capture on those landing pages, information then theoretically goes into a CRM system. An example as to how we've done that is something we call Beers and Business. So it's a networking event that I developed and I set up where we go out, we meet at a local pub and we just get to know each other. It's relationship-based marketing. We chat to one another and then business may follow as a result. I was spending a lot of time sending emails out to people saying, don't forget, we've got Beers and Business this Friday. Here's the venue. So instead, I decided to automate it. I set up a landing page on the website. So a hidden page on the website, essentially where I can drive people to it. So if I want people to come along to Beers and Business, they go across to this landing page, put in their information, and by clicking submit, it automatically puts them into an email funnel where they get notifications about Beers and Business. So you could theoretically do the same sort of thing. Might not be about a networking group, might be about a sales or a product or service that you provide. What we've established so far is that will gain you traffic. All of those things collectively will start to increase traffic. So there's no quick win with regards to how I got from traffic of 0 to 12,000 hits a month. But I started to implement all of the stuff that we've just talked about, making sure that my website's optimized, creating blog content, using funnels and lead magnets, using video-based content, answering questions in blogs and on website pages rather than in emails and driving traffic back to that. All of that's helped me gain traffic. But there's a couple of things that I've not yet mentioned. One of the things is we get traffic from our social media. So we'll put posts out on social media on a regular basis, and we utilize not just our business pages for social media, we also utilize our personal brands. So my personal LinkedIn, Callum's LinkedIn, and some of our colleagues, we use their LinkedIn. And when I say colleagues, I might be talking about network marketing. So people that support us, they might come in and do guest webinars for us and those sorts of things, and get them to drive traffic back to our website by saying things like, if you like more information, there's a link in the comments. There's more info. We'll do a separate session on social media and what to post and how to post, but the link in the comments thing is quite relevant there, because you don't want to put the link into the actual post itself, because the algorithms behind those posts will squeeze your reach, and then theoretically you'll get less traffic to that specific social media post. Anyway, that's a topic for another time. The other way you can do it is by running paid ads to gain traffic. So if you've got a lead magnet specifically that you want to drive traffic back to, it might be that you're a will writer and you're looking for will writing leads. You might choose to use Facebook ads to drive traffic back through that funnel to a specific landing page to get information capture for an appointment. What I would encourage you to do is not to boost a post, because that seems to be quite ineffective presently. Instead, what you'll probably want to do is you'll want to set up Facebook pixel on your website to understand what the audience looks like. You want to make sure then that you're optimizing your ad, finding the right audience. We call it a lookalike audience. So an audience that looks like your ideal client, and then you start to run paid ads. So things like that will help you increase website traffic. It would be remiss of me not to mention the all-important backlink. So SEO is essentially built up by backlinks. It's traffic back to your website from other places. So we talked before about how BBC's got a really strong domain authority score. Well, that's creating backlinks essentially back to key sources, key sites. So if you've got some friends and network within your business, and you would like them to drive traffic back to your website, have a conversation about putting links onto their website that go to key pages on your own. It might be a blog, etc. One way to increase that, and one way to get them on board with it, is by offering guest blog services. So you can say to them, can I write a blog for your website? And in that blog, there'll be a call to action, the CTA, driving traffic back to your contact page or whatever that might look like. Once we've started to do all this, it's important then to understand what's working and what's not. We use a lot of A/B testing. So we test one campaign against another campaign to see which one's more effective, whether the wording on this one works better, whether the images on this one work better. And then we run campaigns based on that. And obviously, we're always testing, because the algorithm changes, the way that the search engines work changes. So we need to make sure that what we're doing is working. But what we're starting to see is this. So perfect example, this was our January search performance, 162,000 web impressions just using our Google Search Console. So if you haven't got Google Search Console set up and Google Analytics set up, then that's the way that you're going to measure the performance of your efforts. So lots of the stuff that we've talked about so far doesn't cost any money. It utilizes time expenditure. So we expend time rather than money. But you can see here that it's driving traffic back to our website. So just from Google alone, we've had 162,000 web impressions in January 2025, and over 7,000 clicks onto our website. That's as a result of the search engine results pages, our efforts into SEO and GSO, generative search optimization, and it's working. It's driving us traffic. It's driving traffic to key pages on our website that we've decided, that we've created, and assuming that we've got good calls to action in place, we'll then be able to turn those into paying clients. I've talked about guest blogging. Well, guest blogging works both ways. So not only do you want to drive traffic back to your website, but you want to be more visible on the off-page SEO piece. So why don't you offer to write blog articles for other websites, and in the same vein, ask them to write a website article for you, a blog article for you, and host it on your website? That will encourage interlinking websites. That will help with your website traffic. And then the other thing, as I briefly mentioned, is influencer partnerships. So influencer marketing, massive. And we're not talking about massive influencers that we pay to drive traffic back to our website or key service page. I'm talking about like micro influencers. So it might be somebody who is an expert in a given topic or field that's niched down, and start to talk about what a partnership where they can drive traffic back to your website would look like. Could be paid, could be unpaid, could be based on a revenue share, anything that's generated. A couple of other things that you might start to think about: lead magnets for information capture. The example being what we did here. We're providing a webinar to give you ideas as to how to grow your website traffic. It's a lead magnet in essence. We're providing you with information in return for your email address so that we can provide you with this content. And what we've then done is we've essentially put your data into our CRM system, our client relationship management system, so that we can let you know about future training events that we've got coming up, future webinars. So you need to be linking your CRM system to your website. And what will happen then is any data that comes through will flow directly into your CRM system. And if you've got it set up perfectly, then lots of automation will happen in the back end and there'll be less work for you to do. One reminder: your website should not be a set it and forget it. I had a conversation with somebody yesterday morning, and they've asked us to quote for building a brand new website for them. And our philosophy was, they've got a website in place at the minute. It needs a few tweaks. Don't necessarily need a new website for that. But I had to remind them that just once these tweaks have been made to the website, it's not a case then it's perfect and it's ready to just set it and forget it. It needs to be updated with blog articles. The About Them section needs to be updated on a yearly basis to reflect any changes within the business, with them, the qualifications that they've got, what they're going for. All of these things should be updated, because when somebody comes across the website, they want to see that it's live, that it's relevant, that it's being updated. And again, Google likes that too. So key point here is, where are you now? This link here takes you to Ahrefs, which is a tool that you can use to find out what your domain authority score looks like. And your domain authority score is a score out of 100, which tells you how the search engines rank your website. It's based on the number of linking websites, the number of backlinks that you've got to your website, but also how authoritative the content is and how authoritative the search engines feel like your website is. Don't be disheartened if you get a score of less than 10. The majority of websites do have a poor domain authority score of less than 10. What you should be aiming for is to get your website up into the 30 mark, at which point your website will be ranking higher than most other websites. And you can do that using the tools and the ideas that we've talked about so far. The key thing being, if anybody wants any support on this, we're not going to charge you any money. We'll provide you with a free SEO report. We'll help you understand what your domain authority score looks like, and we'll give you a website audit of some description, which will then tell you, go away and do X, Y, and Z to start building your domain authority score, to build your on-page and off-page SEO, and then to start generating more website traffic. I hope that has been a useful introduction as to how you can start to increase your website traffic. Unfortunately, like I said, there's no quick fix. It's not like a quick pill that you can take and then your website traffic increases overnight. It's taken us 3 years to build to where we are, but you've seen using the search console pop-up that I showed you how much website traffic we're getting from Google. That doesn't include any of the traffic that we're getting as a result of email campaigns, social media, and those sorts of things. So it is possible, and it will benefit your business if you do a little bit of work now. Any questions, anybody, feel free to reach out. Thanks ever so much.